suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the down.
So I went back to look for the demos of tunes like Walking in Memphis, True Companion, other songs from my debut. And I found all of that and thought, well, that would be a good thing to release. But what I wasn't expecting to find was about 15 songs that I completely forgot I had recorded or even written.
He's traveling down the road tonight.
And it's got those old demos of songs that my fans know, and then it's got 10 or 12 songs that nobody knows. I didn't even know them up until about 7 months ago. I'm writing, but my producer and I, John Leventhal, who works with Roseanne Cash, his wife, and Sean Colvin, has been my main collaborator too. We're still trying to find our way into the theme of the record, the vibe of the record, the sound we're going for. So even though I have songs, that's not the whole thing to me. I'm still working in this old, antiquated album mindset, but I can't help it. That's what I love and that's what I do. Songwriting was something I studied. You know, I listened to music for thousands of hours as a kid, and something I was constantly trying to do. Even though for most of my life, up until the mid-'80s, I did it badly. You know, I mean, my songs weren't that interesting. There was a reason I didn't get signed until I was almost 30 years old. It took me a long time to start writing songs that I felt good about, and till I found my voice. I'm absorbing things that are happening, and when it's time to write, it's time to write. It's a variety of things that press the start button. Unfortunately, it's very often in my life some sort of trauma, something I need to work through that songwriting helps me do. I mean, getting shot several years ago, a shocking thing to have happen, terrifying, and I had some post-traumatic stress. But the unbelievable thing is, yet again, it made me want to write. And it was not only that, but the fact that I was healing at home and Hurricane Katrina happened. And so between those two events, because I was so personally fragile while I was watching all of that unfold, there was a lot to write about. I've been writing a long time about my childhood, which was a very, the kind of childhood that makes you a songwriter. That's one of the choices. My mom died when I was very young. My dad died just several years later. So I was orphaned, basically, in a way no one ever could expect. But I think that's clearly why all these ghosts, literally ghosts, appear in my music. I feel like I never really knew the most important people in my life. You know, I can barely remember, I can't remember her, all I have is photographs. That goodbye, I don't know. You know, at this point, I'd be more inclined to be looking forward to a hello.
I could hear the shutters banging in my mother's house.
But a goodbye would just, what I'm talking about is just a sense of some completion. You know, when you know that somebody is ill, you expect the worst. But she died suddenly. That's really what was so difficult for all of us. My 3 older brothers and me, my dad too. Just from one minute to the next, she was gone. So a chance to say goodbye would have just simply been that.
It was looking good from tail to hood.
When I've done this 25th anniversary show, sometimes I play the first record from start to finish, sometimes change it up a little bit, but when there's a visual component, I don't always do it, but there's pictures of my parents up on the screen. And occasionally when I've looked up while I'm playing to see them there, it's been very healing and very difficult to get through the song. They've really become alive. So yeah, I think that is part of what happens, and it's a wonderful thing. It runs deep. I realized when I got shot, actually, that was another sort of reawakening I had, because I had spent a lot of time prior to that off the road. And I think it was David Crosby and a couple of other friends who said, man, you got to get back on the road. That's where you belong. Part of what you're put here to do is to play. And I went back on the road, had this event where I got shot, but I realized after that happened, I really missed my audience. I missed playing. Ever since that happened, I don't think I've played as many shows ever as I do now. And I have a lot of gratitude for the fact that, yeah, I come to Folsom, California, and the theater is sold out. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and the connection that I have with people on a great night is nothing better.
River and green, be glad to see you when you haven't got a prayer. But boy, you got a prayer.